Good afternoon, viewers. Our today's topic is quadratic equation, and we will be using completing the square method to solve a quadratic equation. Example: solve 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0 using completing the square method. Now, solution. Step 1. Divide through by the coefficient of x squared. Now, when the coefficient of x squared is more than 1, like the one we have here, we will need to divide through by the coefficient, that is 2x squared divided by 2 minus 5x over 2 plus 3 over 2 is equal to 0. Now we have x squared minus 5 over 2x plus 3 over 2 is equal to 0. That is the step 1. But if the coefficient of x squared is 1, this step 1, we may not apply this step 1. So we will start from step 2. So the most important is that the coefficient of x squared must be 1 before we proceed to step 2. Now step 2, collect like terms. That is, we want the constants to move to the right hand side. X squared minus 5 over 2x is equal to minus 3 over 2. As usual, when we are moving from one side to another, the sign will change. That is why this will give us minus 3 over 2. Now, that is what we have for the next step. The next one after this, once we've moved the constant to the right hand side, the most important step is this step 3. Add the square of half of coefficient of x to both sides. Add the square of half of coefficient of x to both sides. That is, minus 5 over 2 is the coefficient of x. We will add the square of its half to both sides. Meaning, that is, we will have x squared minus 5 over 2x plus, we are adding half times minus 5 over 2 square. We add it to both sides. Minus 3 over 2 plus 1 over 2 times minus 5 over 2 square. We will add this to both sides. Now at this point we have x squared minus 5 over 2x plus, this will give us 25 over 16. That is 1 times minus 5 will give us minus 5 over 4. Then when we square that, we will have 25 over 16. So we add it to both sides. That will give us minus 3 over 2 plus 25 over 16. Let us take note at this point. Let us take note of this at this point. That's the first meaningful step we have in completing the square method. We will add the square of half of the coefficient of x to both sides. So after that, we will have x squared minus 5 over 2x plus 25 over 16 is equal to, we will simplify the right hand side. The LCM is 16, then we will have minus 24 plus 25. At this point, this one will give us perfect square, because from here we will have x, then 5 over 4. The sign we have here is minus. So when we factorize, let us take note of this once again. When we factorize this side, this is what we will have. That is, when we factorize this side, we will get this perfect square. So what we have to both sides is what we make the expression perfect square. Let us take note of this once again. The square root of this will give us x. The square root of this will give us 5 over 4. And since we have negative here, that's why we have negative here. So that will give us the perfect square. Then this is equal to 1 over 16. The step 4, square root both sides. At this point, we will square root both sides. That is x minus 5 over 4 into square, then everything into square root is equal to square root of 1 over 16. Don't forget that when you are square rooting a constant, you will have a plus or minus. It's very, very important. The square root and square we go, then we will have x minus 5 over 4, which is equal to plus or minus 1 over 4. Let us take note of that. It's a must for you to have this plus or minus. Now, the last step, we collect like terms because this minus 5 over 4 is constant. Then we will have x is equal to 5 over 4 plus or minus 1 over 4. Now at this point we have x is equal to 4 as the LCM of the denominator, 5 plus or minus 1. So we have x is equal to 5 plus 1 over 4 or 5 minus 1 over 4. Finally, we have 6 over 4 or 4 over 4. Now, we have x is equal to 3 over 2 or 1. That is the solution to the question. So, once again, let us take note. We have 5 steps. If the coefficient of x squared is greater than 1, that is, we divide through by the coefficient of x squared. But if the coefficient of x squared is 1, we will not apply step 1, we will start from step 2. Let us take note of that. And step 3 is the most logical part, which implies that add the square of half of coefficient of x to both sides. Our coefficient of x here is minus 5 over 2. We multiply that by half. Then we now square it, we add it to both sides. So the left-hand side will surely give us perfect square. As we have it here, it will surely give us perfect square. And the other side, we will simplify it as we have it here. And you can follow through line by line, step by step. And today we've come to the end of solving quadratic equation using completed the square method. Thank you.